I am getting to the end of my research. Today is Monday, August 21st, and it is 6:09 p.m. I have been at it since, September 25th of 2016 with this National Science Foundation Fellowship to conduct this super secretive, highly confidential, data-driven decision-making research in a big data lab at Teachers College, Columbia University, under the tutelage of Dr. Alex J. Bowers, my research director. And I have gotten down to the nitty-gritty. I have gone through about 120 studies. I've searched peer-reviewed articles, journal articles from people like Ellen Mondanash, Dr. Alex J. Bowers, Dr. Vincent Cho, Dr. Jeffrey Boyce, and soon-to-be Dr. Kenneth Graves, and so many others, Dr. J. Spallon, and Tekalesi, and so many others, and Dr. Marsh, and Dr. Wayman, of course, whose work is at the center of my research. I'm basically validating his work by conducting a metadata analysis of all the peer-reviewed journal articles that I have amassed as being critical to my topic. And so I got together about 120 initially, and then by March of 2017 I had whittled it down to about 90 articles, and by April, by the time we got back, late April, from the AERA Research Conference in San Antonio, Texas, I had gotten it down to about 85, and now I am down to about 73. I got it down to about 73 in July, right around mid-July. Just seems like yesterday, but it's been 4 weeks. And this is my research. This is the work that I've been working on, and it's going to wind up looking like a 30-page chart when it's all combined, or 3 separate charts that have completely distilled the information that's provided in these articles in some very specific categories. So I'm excited about coming to the end of my project. I'm building my code tables now. I've annotated my survey use tables, which is a meta-crawl of all of my articles, my published articles. And it talks about, it just lists out every single fact in my, you don't want to hear about all this, but it's the validation of the studies that have been conducted, and it's the real enumeration of every single survey that's been used to assess data use by public school educators in their decision-making process. So it's like lawyering 101 for teachers. Like, you have some proof here. Precedent is what they call it in the law. You have these, or common law also, you have these rules, and you have these things that, these case studies that are proven to have certain impact and certain outcomes. Why not use that as a way to boost your efforts when you go to make changes in program delivery, project development, in order to, bolster student achievement, test outcomes, etc., participation, and eventually social justice. I can't talk to social justice in my project. All I can talk to in my project is the specific effect of building capacity for teachers who attempt to traverse this new, requirement. It's an imperative. There is no option. Teachers are required to use data and to engage technology in the reporting process, in the teaching and learning process, and their pedagogical approach probably should reflect some technological, advocacy, because the students that we're teaching to go out into the world to do wonderful things will need to engage technology with a healthy standpoint and a healthy appetite for learning more and more and more as more and more becomes available in terms of knowledge that's not, based on technology and learned through technology in order to learn more things about the world or to learn more things about technology and how to engage the world. We've got awesome days ahead of us in terms of exploration and learning. We are growing exponentially in terms of what we know about things. So personally, my fascination and my heart for students and for my nonprofit, the next iteration of my nonprofit is to encourage, just like President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama did, is to encourage STEAM study, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and art. Because art, as a way to express all this, really does help to engage the public and to impart the educational wherewithal that we're gaining from all this ubiquity of, technology and information that's just at our fingertips. We can learn about anything from any place, from our pocket these days, and it's awesome. So, but for teachers to really feel confident about applying data to their decision making in the classroom, they have to have certain things, and there are certain needs that have gone unmet in order to bridge the divide. One is capacity building. So professional development. Some authors claim that they need more professional development. Capacity. They need to have the understanding, the breadth of awareness and understanding about data use, so that they're able to, once they have decided on what information to use, are able to apply it and then go back and assess its effects, its intended effects, and where it's missed the mark, and have the ability to make those assessments and those adjustments so that they eventually get to the outcomes that they are determined to get to. The other component that I'm measuring my work on is confidence. They need to have the confidence and the ability to engage dialogue about data use and data-driven decision-making. It's now like this sort of colloquialism. It's like this buzzword. It's like this thing. Data-driven decision-making, or DDDM. It's like this thing. And so it's this big, scary, mystical thing. And everyone thinks that somebody else knows more about it than they do. And so teachers have a lot on their plate, and they're normally, public school teachers are driven by accountability standards to some degree. And it's usually very practical, and it has everything to do with maintaining their job, their resources, their available resources, and their ability to teach their classes and just maintain from day to day. So with any extra requirements, they're a bit frightened. So they need the added confidence, and confidence is another category. The other category is collaboration. They need to have that confidence in order to collaborate with their peers about the use of data and the use of data to drive decision making in their classrooms. So naturally, when we're learning something new, and now I'm going to teach y'all, naturally we want to be able to show our outcomes. We have to show that we did it, and we did it the best, or we did it with some outcomes. And sometimes it's okay not to have the intended outcomes. The point is they need to be able to talk to each other about what their trials have been, what their errors have been, what their attempts have been, what their outcomes have been and have not been, and to share that honestly and openly. And so capacity feeds into the ability to provide the language so that they can express what it is that they've been doing and what they haven't been doing without feeling foolish or, without feeling like they're going to be rejected or criticized or ridiculed in any way. And so that brings us to the final category that I'm measuring all these surveys on. Did they measure teachers' support systems, their own self-reported incidences of support? Did they get the support that they needed from their school districts, from their, uplines? Their administrators, did they have the kind of support that they need in their building, in their district, in their state? Support is really important, and I'm on the part. I've just finished a walkthrough for the entire report for all of my 73 remaining articles, and I think I'm gonna chop it down, chop a few others out. But there's a lot of discussion and about supportive environments, building, nurturing, supportive environments that will take the time to go to the trouble to look at these various systems technological systems that can be implemented, purchased for the district, purchased by school because they have their budgets and they have the right to allocate their resources, more so than others, than other school districts, but they have the ability to purchase what is needed for their intended outcomes in terms of technology. So who needs support around, that? So the decision makers also need support. So support is a really broad category. It covers not just the teacher in the classroom or the administrators and support staff or the principals, also the superintendents. They also need to have, they need to feel like they're not going to make some huge mistake by buying a system that's going to cause them a lot of criticism, a lot of kickback, maybe even loss of budget, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So those are my 5 categories, and I'm so happy to say that I have gone through and I've coded each and every one of my articles, and I have summarized each of my surveys, as well as my, I haven't even counted my surveys. I think that's the next thing that I'll do, because he wants me to enumerate, my research director wants me to enumerate the number of surveys that I've come upon, improving the articles, thesis, whatever it is, and then I've annotated each bibliographic entry. So each of those 73 was 120, got down to 90, dropped down to 85, and now it's at where I'm at 73. For each one of those remaining 73 peer-reviewed journal articles on DDDM, data-driven decision making, I've annotated each one for what the authors intended with engaging the research study, what the size of their study was, and what the rubric was that they were studying, what issues were they pointing at, what categories did they wind up with, and what their findings and outcomes were. And in some cases, I comment on their methodology if it's something that's unique and really stands out. Otherwise, I am reporting basically on, I've annotated each article, journal article, by, purpose, intended purpose, categories or targeted topics, outcomes, and methodology. So, yeah, I'm at the end of it, and I'm almost at the point where I'm ready to send this off to my senior researcher, my senior lab associate, who will look at my work and offer comments as to how to continue this or to shape it in a way so that it is in alignment with what the standards are in my lab, because my research director definitely has some standards, and it, it's my first year, so I don't know what to expect, but this future Dr. Graves does. So wish me luck. I'm gonna shoot this off to him tonight, even if it's midnight. I'm sending it off to him at 6 o'clock and get my second wind. I'll probably go get some coffee so I can eat a bagel with some peanut butter on it, get some more energy going, so I can crush through these and see which articles I'm going to now delete from my study, and then do a final polish, and I'll enumerate the number of surveys, and that'll be my work for today. And then tomorrow, even though I will have sent this off to my senior lab ed doc, I will go through and I will plug in whatever holes are in my table to round out my discussion, so that each annotation is in agreement and alignment with the other, and that there's some contextual discussion, maybe even some feedback on the interplay between the authors, or from a genre perspective, or from the standpoint of these themes that have emerged. So, wish me luck. It's the 21st. My project is due on the 31st. I feel so good about it because I've got all my data together in one place. It's in the format that my research director wants to see, and I'm just really glad that it is. So, thank you. I'll check in with you when I get closer to the finish line. And again, this is Veronica Merritt, future Dr. Veronica Merritt, Teachers College, Columbia University, Department of Organization and Leadership, Adult Learning and Leadership. See you in a few days.